This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in the Inland Empire today. I'm so glad that Mike Gardner is here. He's a member of the Riverside City Council. We just enjoyed the 4th of July, but interestingly, in the run-up to 4th of July, I was hearing fireworks going off. It seems as if fireworks are continuing to kind of permeate throughout the region, really throughout the state. What can you tell us about the city of Riverside and its approach to fireworks?
Well, Riverside has always banned all fireworks, not just the ones that are not legal anywhere in the state, the ones that launch into the air and explode, but the so-called safe and sane as well. Up until about 10 months ago, it was a $500 fine if you were caught using fireworks. Using. So you're actually lighting them.
So a law enforcement official needs to see you lighting the firework. How often is that going to happen?
Rarely, especially if you happen to turn the corner in a big fire engine that kind of stands out, or a police car, and so you don't light it. And they didn't do anything about possession. The municipal code didn't allow it. And often enforcement was they took your fireworks, and that was all. They didn't issue the $500 citation. November of last year, the city upped the violation to a $1,000 penalty and made it clear that possession alone was also a citable offense. And the presumption is if fireworks are on property you control or in a vehicle you control, they're yours. And you get the citation unless there's someone else there who says, nope, those are mine, give me the citation. But somebody gets cited. The other interesting thing that we have done recently, we had a fire that was started by illegal fireworks.
Oh, you did?
Threatened some homes, didn't actually damage any, but a significant fire and police response for traffic control.
Oh, wow.
We are billing the responsible party for the emergency response, and it looks like it may run close to $10,000 on top of the $1,000 citation.
And I understand you're also providing for a reward.
Yes.
If someone turns in someone who has fireworks in their possession.
And that gets a little tricky because under the state law authorizing rewards, it is for the identification and I think it says apprehension, but effectively the arrest of a person who causes death or injury to a human or damage to property through their actions involving illegal fireworks and either purchasing, possessing, or using. So
if someone's just possessing, have they met the definition?
No. You have to have caused some form of harm. It's not been tested to my knowledge.
Do we need to go to Sacramento to ask them to change the law so that possession could be part of the reward?
I think that might make sense, but actually that's rewards in general, not specific to fireworks. So
I understand.
I don't know how the legislature would react, and I don't know the history of why they put those limitations on it. It may be something that doesn't make sense to change in the broad perspective.
Is this a solution seeking a problem, or is this a bona fide problem?
It's a bona fide problem in Riverside for a number of reasons. You obviously have the public safety risk. If you start a fire, if one blows up in somebody's hand.
It is Riverside with a lot of open space. It's dry.
And it takes resources that would normally be doing other things. If the fire engine that would have come to my heart attack is at your fireworks call, I may die. If the police officers aren't patrolling because they're directing traffic for a fire, bad things can happen.
I understand.
So there's that issue. There's the actual risk of fire damage, the noise of fireworks, and the unpredictability. You know when a fireworks show is, but the unpredictability of personal fireworks in terms of scaring animals, troubling people with PTSD. We have a large veteran community, and many of our vets do suffer from PTSD. So those are the other kinds of problems that are associated.
I want to talk about another type of fire, and that's the fire that's used to light cannabis. Although some people are ingesting cannabis in different ways, through gummy bears or through cookies or however they may be ingesting it, vaping, which doesn't necessarily require fire to ignite. Riverside is the city that went to the California Supreme Court to allow Riverside as a matter of land use to exclude medical marijuana dispensaries. But Riverside is also the city that voted, I think, about 54% in favor of Prop 64,
Yes.
which legalizes marijuana for all purposes. So what is Riverside thinking in terms of legal marijuana, either sale, dispensaries, cultivation, indoor, outdoor?
We have not taken it up as a council yet. We are going to do that late
This
this
summer?
month.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We'll start the process in
Okay.
late July. And I expect it will be probably at least a 60-day process with a lot of discussion. It's clear to me that marijuana is here today, and it will be
Right.
here next year, and it will be purchased legally in some surrounding jurisdiction,
Well, but that's the question.
if not Riverside.
Right, that's the question, because look, Riverside's a large city geographically.
Yes.
And so if you're making someone go to Moreno Valley, I don't know if they have dispensaries, but let's just say
Right.
Moreno Valley, that could be a 20-mile drive. And so they're going to Moreno Valley, maybe they're imbibing when they get there, and they're driving back. Query whether driving under the influence of marijuana is dangerous, but I can't think it's a net positive.
I think most police officers and traffic officials will tell you that being under the influence of marijuana does reduce your ability
Right.
to operate a vehicle
I mean, slower,
safely.
lethargy.
So, yeah. That is clearly an issue. One argument in favor of allowing sale and cultivation is that does generate some tax revenue, which can help pay for
Sure.
the services that are required to deal
Right.
with the negative effect that may come with it.
What about cultivation? We've spoken, I believe, our friends in Adelanto, a city in this
Yes.
region, they're doubling down on cultivation. They're going to open huge, or they already started, huge warehouses with
Yes.
indoor marijuana plants. You got a lot of warehouse space in Riverside. They can be well protected. You're not going to smell anything.
That's the advantage of indoor cultivation. If you're going to allow cultivation, indoor is, I think, less problematic. It's harder for people to go steal the product.
Right.
You can control the odor. You can actually produce more of the year. An issue for Riverside is under the old Proposition R, Measure C, that created our green belt, the agricultural area. I think arguably marijuana is an agricultural product,
Right.
and people are entitled to grow it in the open in the green belt.
Oh my.
If Riverside wishes to change that, we'll need to go back to the voters and see if the voters want to change it, because that was a charter initiative process that
Right.
created those.
Right.
On a personal level, if we're going to have cultivation, I would rather see it inside than out. I think inside cultivation is more efficient, and I think it gives much better control, better production, or better protection of the product from theft and tampering.
So what do you
and all
think is going to
those
happen?
things. I don't know. We're going to have a big discussion.
What are you hearing from your personal constituents?
It's a mix. I have some who say marijuana is bad. It's always been bad, always will be bad. Don't let it in my city. And others who say, people have been doing it for years and we're still here.
It's a fascinating turn of events. Mike Gardner, I want to thank you so much for joining us. He is Mike Gardner. He is a councilman in the city of Riverside. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us on Local Edition.